Thank you. First off, just want to say thank you so much for having me here. This is hopefully going to be anywhere from like 30, 45 minutes, and I think there's going to be some Q&A at the end. So let's just dive right into it. My name is Timmy Hendrickson, and today I'm going to be presenting on marketing, brainstorms, and Taylor Swift. Not actually Taylor Swift. I'll explain why I label it that later on. But to start things off, who am I? Like I said, my name's Timmy, originally from the Bay Area, Los Altos, born and raised. And this is just like, if I had to break down my resume into one slide, this would be it. Went down to the University of Redlands, a very, very small school in the, did you go there?
I used to live in Loma Linda. I went to Loma Linda Academy.
Go Bulldogs. University of Redlands, very small liberal arts school. Went down there for water polo, swimming, great business school. Started working for Red Bull as a student brand manager my junior year. Was doing so well for them my 2 years there that they extended a full-time offer to me in Cincinnati, Ohio. Anyone from Ohio? What part? Right on. So I was their manager for Southern Ohio. Used to go to Columbus all the time. But how do you like California compared to Ohio? Exactly. So Ohio was just a different experience for me. It was a lot of fun. Was out there for 18 months doing field marketing. If you ever see the girls, the Red Bull girls out with their backpacks sampling product, I was their manager in charge of college marketing as well. Then they promoted me to what was called the on-premise manager for the Orange County area and Inland Empire, which is Riverside, Loma Linda again, which was a lot of fun on-premise, meaning bars, nightclubs, restaurants, casinos, a lot of fun things going on in that industry. And then I left to take a role with Uber as one of their marketing managers in Los Angeles. Give me a shout if you've heard of Uber. Yeah. So the first time I heard about Uber was 2013. I was back up here for Thanksgiving, and my mom, my dad, my brother, and myself normally like to enjoy ourselves at Thanksgiving's parties, and one of us will draw straws, and whoever draws the shortest one is the DD. So my mom goes, "No, we're going to take an Uber." And I go, "What is that? That's not a thing." And she told me this whole concept of opening your app, requesting a car, and it's there in minutes. So I used that in my interview, and they ate it up. They hired me, had a lot of fun with them. But LA was not, anyone from here from LA, like actual Los Angeles? What's that? Live there, yeah. Yeah, traffic's awful. Not necessarily my scene. So I joined Minibar back in November, taking care of their operations, marketing for all of California. Right now we operate in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, San Diego, and Los Angeles. So it's been a lot of fun. Moving on, just rules of engagement for this presentation. One, you're not going to agree with everything I say. I'm sure you've been in presentations before and you look at a presenter and they say something and you go, "Well, I don't necessarily agree with that," and that's fine. This presentation is just my experiences. When you go off into starting your own company, your own app, whatever, when you go into the workforce, this will not all be the same. You might see some similarities, but it's not all going to line up. Two, ask questions. I know we have a Q&A at the end, but if there's something, I'm a fast talker, so if there's something that you need me to repeat, feel free, just raise your hand, yell it out, that's fine, or save them for the end. And then finally, this deck is very simple, and don't confuse that with me not putting a lot of time and effort into this deck. I spent the majority of my weekend working on it, but we've all sat in presentations where someone comes up here and there's just so much text that it's an eye chart, and you get bored and you're falling asleep because it's Monday and it's a hot day out there. That is not the purpose of this presentation. It's meant to be interactive. I might ask some questions, from the audience, but it's very simple and it's not meant to be too complex. So getting right off the bat, marketing. Want to start with a quote. Has anyone heard of Chuck Klosterman? No. So he's an author, used to write for like Esquire, GQ, has a couple books out, and he has this quote that nothing can be appreciated in a vacuum. And I'll be calling back to that throughout this presentation, but what it means is we our minds are vacuums. Throughout the day, we're always just like sucking in culture and content, and it's just all kind of getting lost in there. And nothing really can be appreciated unless you kind of break the mold. So I'll be calling back to that quote maybe once or twice throughout this presentation. But who has heard of the 4 Ps of marketing? Just raise your hand. Right on. So I'm not going to spend too much time going into it, but it's product, price, place, promotion. And I'm just going to walk through it very briefly with my experience with Red Bull. So Red Bull, number 1, the product itself. It's an energy drink. It gives you wings. That's the branding. They haven't changed much to the can in the 25 plus years they've been around. And can someone tell me when you consume a Red Bull? When do you consume a Red Bull? Yeah. In the morning. What was that? When you're tired, when you need a boost, when you want to rage. Exactly. There are a lot of consumption occasions for this product, and that's part of their brand. They know that. They know that they're a brand that you can consume at 6 in the morning, whether you're just waking up or 6 in the morning, you're still up, and you don't want to stop the party. Place, where can you buy it? Convenience stores, normally called the off-premise, 7-Elevens, Vons, Ralph's, gas stations. On-premise, bars, nightclubs, restaurants, hotels. Events, here's a picture of Beyonce at Coachella, rocking out to Jay-Z. Also with Maria Shriver randomly here, hanging out with her, Arnold Schwarzenegger's ex-wife. But, I mean, you can practically buy it anywhere. And the price, it varies. So in the off-premise, it's inexpensive. And it's meant to be that way because if you go into a store and you see Red Bull for $1.89 or $2.29, and then you see, and it's only the 8.4 ounce can, but then you'll see a Monster for, you can buy 10 of them for $10, right? But Red Bull likes to differentiate itself because it's a premium product. It's not meant to be bought. I mean, it can be bought in bulk. They have 4-packs, 12-packs, 24-packs, but it's not meant for you to sit there, collect 10 cans, go to the checkout and say, yeah, this is only going to cost me $10. That's not them. In the on-premise, it's a little more expensive. Bar owners, if anyone has ever worked in a bar or if you plan on starting a business in a bar, you'll understand that they're very concerned with their margins, which is why it's pretty high. $4 to $6 for a can of Red Bull. It's normally supposed to be priced either at or just right above the cost of an import beer. So you can go to, do you guys go out in San Mateo a lot? Yeah, so like the Route 92, you can buy a Corona for like $4. And generally Red Bull, I don't think they have Red Bull there, but just an example, a Red Bull would sell there for $4, $5. And then at events, they can generally buy them more in bulk, and they can bring their prices down all the way to $3, or some events go all the way to $8. Now, who here would pay $8 for a Red Bull? I wouldn't. I worked for them for 4.5 years. I would not pay $8 for a Red Bull, but some people do. I think Coachella, one of the largest events, out here on the West Coast where Red Bull is sold for like $4, and it kills. Because think of the Coachella demographic, it's 18 to 27-year-olds. They have, disposable income, but, they want to spend more of that money on, well, not the 18-year-olds, but the 21 and up-year-olds want to spend it on the Heinekens and, their premium beer. And then, lastly, promotion. Where can you see, Red Bull? They have their, old school, original cartoon ads. I'm sure we've all seen them. They're hilarious. You can see them out on billboards, and we'll get back to this in a little bit, but it's very simple. A lot of what they do is very clean cut. It kind of breaks the mold of a normal billboard, and it just calls out to their product. They also sponsor athletes. So this is Olympian Lolo Jones, Olympian Lindsey Vonn. And what's great about them is they're not just like a LeBron James with Nike. LeBron James is obviously if they had an MVP of the century, he would be it, right? But he personifies Nike as the top athlete. He does so well. He brought Cleveland back, from 3 games down or 2 games down. this past year and beat the Warriors. How many Warriors fans are still sulking? Yeah, me too. But these two athletes, they really personify Red Bull in terms of they're at the top of their game. They're fun-loving. I mean, if you follow these two on Snapchat, hilarious. And that's Red Bull. They're very witty. They like to be very tongue-in-cheek. They don't like to take themselves too seriously. But they also work on some large events, right? Has anyone ever been to a Red Bull Fluke Tug? Or they've seen it? Yeah. You literally just build a goofy craft. You push it off a 90-foot barge, and you hope it floats, and you hope you don't get hurt. They also have a Red Bull soapbox, very tongue-in-cheek, very witty, very fun-loving. These large events that are speaking to their consumer, but it's not necessarily the most complex idea. Let's just build something, push it off a barge, throw it down a hill, and see what happens. Then they kind of have these other, like smaller events, Red Bull X Fighters. It's moto, so a little different than the witty events that we just talked about, but still very big. They do like these large world tours, and then finally, one more. They do Red Bull 3 which is a DJ competition. Right here is DJ Jazzy Jeff. If anyone is familiar with the music scene, he's like one of the original DJs. And then finally, their most recent largest project was Red Bull Stratos. And this is where they sent someone to the stratosphere and made him jump out of this little cube. So as you can see, Red Bull has its hand in a lot of different things, right? Music, tongue-in-cheek events, athletes, and even, breaking world records. So they have a lot going on. And that's kind of like the 4 P's of marketing really quickly, really briefly. And I'm sure you could Google 4 P's of marketing, and there's going to be great examples, more in-depth examples of what brands do. But that was just my experience with Red Bull and the things that you can see any given day.